Hi, I'm James Harrison and I manage the two kitchens for Vache and TST in Soho. And I'm here with Foodie in their test kitchen today to teach you guys at home how to prepare and cook the perfect steak. So at Vache, we only use the best steak we can get our hands on, and that is the USDA prime ribeye, which is what we have in front of us right here. The reason we choose the ribeye is because it holds up to high temperature cooking extremely well, because it's got a great fat to meat ratio. We trim our steaks in-house. We get a ribeye roll. We trim a lot of the fat off. We trim a lot of the silver skin off. We try to give you the perfect steak, which is 10 ounces. It's important not to take too much fat off, otherwise when you start cooking your steak, it'll fall apart. So I'm just going to portion up a couple of steaks here. So now that we have these steaks portioned, let's get them buttered, seasoned, and then I can show you how to cook that perfect steak. We season our steaks with a ton of French butter, salt, and black pepper. We go pretty heavy with the seasoning, so you should too. This is going to get really messy, so please don't be afraid to use your hands. Rub that butter onto the steaks. And then with our seasoning, start up high and flip them over. And repeat. So we have our seasoned steaks, we're ready to cook. At Vache, we have a custom-made cast iron grill, which I know you don't have at home. So I'm going to teach you how to cook the steak in a pan. What we have here is a heavy base non-stick pan. Make sure any pan that you cook with at home does have a heavy base. That's what you're looking for, not a light, flimsy pan. In our pan, we have a small amount of olive oil. We're just waiting for it to heat up. All right, so we've got our pan here. It's nice and hot. The best way you can tell is you can see the smoke starting to come off it. That lets us know we're ready to rock and roll. So we'll take the chuck end of the ribeye, put it in the pan. Make sure you place it in gently and away from yourself. And you can hear that sizzle, that's what you want to hear. Now this will take around about 2 minutes for the size of our steak that we have today. Now what we're looking for here is a really nice crust and a good sear on our first side of the steak. You can give it a little pat to make sure that all the surface is touching the pan to get that perfect crust. Now, I like to rest my steaks, so what that means is for a 2-minute cooking time, we'll need to rest it for about 45 seconds to a minute. The general rule of thumb is half the time of your cooking time for resting. You can pull it up to check, but you don't want to do it too often. So we're really, really close now to having to turn the steak, and that's been about 45 seconds of cooking time. So we'll turn the steak. Now you can see we've got a really good, nice caramelization, a really good dark brown crust. We're looking for that crunch, that crispness of the crust when you bite into it. Now a good way to tell that you're coming up to medium temperature is you'll start to see a lot of the fluid from the meat rise up and pool on top of the steak, almost like it's sweating. So you can start to see that the steak is starting to sweat, especially around the eye area of the beef. This is letting us know that we're pretty much at medium. So I would take this out of the pan and set it down. And we'll let it sit there for 30 seconds to 45 seconds. Now that we've rested the steak, it's time to carve it and then start plating. So here we have our USDA ribeye, cooked to perfection, a perfect medium, from your chef at Vache, James Harrison.